it is not that the past is causing your current mental health issue. It's actually how you think about it, how you relate to it, how you perceive it, and what you believe about it. That is the main driver of the symptom that you are facing today. สวัสดีครับ I'm Point, a mental health coach with the Drive program. Let's talk about some more misconceptions about mental health. Part 2. In today's video, I want to particularly talk about misconceptions surrounding how we view our past or how you relate to the past. Because when it comes to our mental health, when it comes to symptoms or suffering in general, which we call stress, anxiety, panic attacks, fears, phobias, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, depression, and the list goes on. You see, we are often led to believe that we are the way we are today, or we have anxiety, panic attacks, depression, low self-esteem today because of some terrible incident that happened to us in the past. But let's really deconstruct this here and dive into what's going on here. When you look at the situation like that, when you look at your current symptom that you're facing like that, it is very easy to believe that the past has power over you, the past controls you, and because you cannot change the past, therefore you'll never get out of your depression, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, anxiety, panic attacks, fears and phobias, etc. The misconception is as follows. First of all, we are not saying that the past never happened. Of course, misfortunes, unfortunate incidents, terrible incidents, traumatic events happen in life. But let me ask you this. If you say that I have a fear of dogs today because I was bitten by a dog in the past, or if you say that I have depression and anxiety today because I was abused and bullied as a child, let me ask you this question. Does that incident still exist today? The truth is the incident is long gone. It's in the past. It no longer exists. So then you would agree with me, right? That it only exists as a memory when you recall it and when you think about it. But from your perspective, you don't look at it like that. You think about it and you believe it to be true and you believe it to be the cause of your mental health issue or mental health symptom or mental health problem. Again, we're not saying the past never happened, but we're saying that the past does not affect you, at least not in the way that you think. The cause of your current symptom actually, it would be much more accurate to say, actually it would even be true to say, is merely the belief that you continue to hold around that issue. Now, to talk about this, I want to be a little bit technical here and talk about the research done by Ochsner and Shatner in 2000, which clearly demonstrated that memory is an entirely reconstructive process at all stages. We have to reconstruct our memory. So each time we think about the past event, we're thinking about it for the 100th time, 1000th time. And each time you recreate it, you change the story a little bit in ways that you're not aware of. You see, we're often led to believe, or popular culture often believes, that we store picture perfect, video perfect, audio perfect files or recorded videos of the past. That's actually not what's happening here. Actually, what's more accurate to say is that when your brain encodes an experience and stores it as memory, you have electronic data that is encoded between nerve cells, which we call neurons. And in none of those nerve cells, none of them hold a complete picture perfect, audio perfect, video perfect picture or file. You see, these data that is encoded as electronic data is scattered throughout your brain and is more accurate to say that it is as if it is a big 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle where you only have a few pieces stored and recorded, and you fill in the rest when you think about that experience or that situation again. That's actually a much more accurate way to describe it. So let's use the help of a thought experiment to really bring this point home. So if I were to ask you, what did you have for dinner last night? Okay, please describe for me how your dinner went last night. Okay, you may tell me that, okay, you were having a hamburger at home, homemade hamburger. Okay, nice. And you were cooking, and after cooking you had hamburger and you're watching TV with your partner or with your brother or sister or with your family. And I asked you, okay, please continue to describe how the evening went. And you describe how you were having a glass of wine, for example. Okay, and then you were describing the conversations that you were having with your family or whoever it is you were having dinner with. Okay, and you see, when I asked you to describe what happened, most of the times, people will be able to picture themselves from a third-person perspective. Now, the next question, therefore, is, let me ask you, did that event truly happen? Did that event truly happen? If you think about it, the answer is obviously no, because we can never see ourselves from a third-person perspective. You can only see yourself from a first-person perspective. The fact that you were able to describe last evening's dinner in such detail, as if you were seeing it through the lens of a camera from a third-person perspective, shows and proves this concept that has been clearly demonstrated by Ochsner and Shatner, that memory is an entirely reconstructive process at all stages. So let's use the help of another example. Here's a thought experiment. Let's say a couple gets married, right? A newlywed couple gets married. 2 weeks later, they spend their honeymoon in a beautiful island resort in the Maldives, right? And they look back at their photo album at the wedding, how the wedding day went, 2 weeks after the wedding event happened, and now they're on their honeymoon. And how do you think they view themselves? They must view themselves, oh, I'm the most lucky guy in the world. I'm the most happiest woman on the planet Earth to be in love with this man, this woman of my dreams, right? That's how they would describe the event. The wedding was the best day of their life. Now, fast forward time for 5 years, and unfortunately, arguments happen, and now they're on the brink of divorce. They're about to sign their papers at the divorce court. Ask that person again to recall how their wedding night went. How do you think that person will recall the event? I'm so stupid. How could I ever be such a fool and marry this, devil of a person, this evil person, this horrible human being, right? Now, fast forward time again, 5 more years. That person finds a new partner, falls in love again, and gets remarried. And ask him to describe the wedding 10 years ago. How do you think that person would describe that wedding now? Oh, that was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, because it led me to, even though I had to go through the divorce, but it led me to find finally the perfect partner for me. So what am I trying to show here? What I'm trying to show here is simply that our emotional state has a huge significance, has a huge factor to play in how we recall an event and how we think about the past. So again, we're always reconstructing the past. The same thing holds true for any mental health symptom or issue which we may be faced with. Stress, anxiety, fears, phobias, panic attacks, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, depression, right? They're all psychological in nature. But it is not that the past is causing your current mental health issue. It's actually how you think about it, how you relate to it, how you perceive it, and what you believe about it. That is the main driver of the symptom that you are facing today. Now, you may begin to agree with me on this issue intellectually, but the moment this video ends, you might find yourself back again having those same symptoms. the issue here is you might begin to have an intellectual change because you might agree with some things that I'm saying here, but the depth of that change has not yet been ingrained, or in other words, you haven't fully embodied it yet. And to learn to change how we relate to our past would then be to say, to learn to take ownership of our lives, to learn to take back control, to learn to take back our sense of self-empowerment. And that's what it means to learn to thrive. But it takes practice to do this. Systematic practice in the right way with a given amount of effort. And we can all learn to relate to our past, or what we used to think is the cause of our current mental health symptom, in a more helpful, empowering way. And the past gradually changes from something that has control over us, something that torments us, changes from something that haunts us. It changes to, guess what? Wisdom. And we feel empowered by it. We feel in control of our current state of being right now, our current state of experience in life, because we know how to relate to these experiences in a way that promotes us to grow and to walk forward in our lives with a sense of confidence that we have the skills and resources to cope with, to tolerate, and to overcome any difficulty of life, no matter what form it may take, what shape it may come in. And again, that's what it means to learn to thrive. So I want to share this as food for thought in today's video. Again, we're not saying that the past never happened. Yes, terrible things happen. But the only thing that remains today that causes any mental health symptom is actually, if you get to the bottom of it, is actually the belief that you hold about it. And once you learn to understand what this truly means, and once you learn to embody this, then you will be thriving and you will look at the past with a new sense of wisdom. And it's a very empowering place to be. So I hope this video was valuable for you. Thank you very much for watching. I know it was a bit longer than usual, but I wanted to talk about this misconception because it is a very common misconception when it comes to our mental health. We are often led to believe that we are the way we are today, we have the symptoms that we do today because of some terrible incident that happened to us in the past. But once we learn to take ownership, take back control, take responsibility for our experiences in life, then we truly begin to thrive. And that's when life starts to become fun and the past no longer haunts us, no longer torments us. And now we look at the past with a sense of understanding and a sense of wisdom. It becomes a lesson for us to continue to grow in life. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. สวัสดีครับ